Welcome. With me this morning is Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister and the Member of Parliament for Tobago East, Ms. Ayanna Webster Roy. We are talking about gender for International Women's Day, to be more specific, and what the ministry is doing, and also try to get a little bit about her and how she got into politics and the challenges, if any, she faced in doing so, reaching to one of the highest offices in Trinidad and Tobago. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you, Rishi.
And how are you?
I'm quite good, thanks.
I would like to start by thanking you for taking some time out of your busy schedule to join us to have this discussion.
It's a pleasure to be here with you.
So, International Women's Day, March 8th.
Yes, definitely.
What does it mean to you?
International Women's Day is a time when Trinidad and Tobago joins the international community in just pausing, reflecting on the achievements women have made over the years, also reflecting on some of the challenges we continue to face, and also looking at the different strides women in society would have made, particularly women who have been able to overcome in terms of their challenges, socioeconomic challenges, and highlighting the achievement in politics, in science and technology, in social development.
And we have had some females holding the highest offices, and our president-elect is going to be a female as well. So
yes,
much
definitely.
to celebrate.
Much to celebrate, but there's still work to be done. Even though women in Trinidad and Tobago are advancing, and we are at a stage where we could say we are almost at the top of every sector, there's still work to be done to ensure that we are at this stage of equality and equity, in terms of the distribution of resources and how we access those resources, and also having a fair and equal chance to benefit from what is available. Even though people may say in Trinidad and Tobago we have equal access to education, if you take into consideration a young woman who may be from a poor background, a single mother, even though that free education is available, those other social circumstances would inhibit her from being able to access those resources. So when we talk about equality and equity, is about ensuring we have the resources available, yes, but ensuring that each individual is able to benefit fully from the resources available in Trinidad and Tobago as well.
So, in the Office of the Prime Minister, you are in charge of gender development.
Yes.
What is the Office of the Prime Minister and you doing to address these issues?
So what we are doing, we have developed a holistic program. We are targeting at the individual level, addressing those things that will affect persons individually. We're looking at the family and the wider community level, and then at a national perspective in terms of empowering women and empowering men as well, because gender is not a woman's issue. It's all of Trinidad and Tobago issue, taken into consideration of men, women, boys and girls. We're ensuring that we network and take an all-of-government approach to ensure that all ministries, all services cater for persons at the individual level. If we expand it to the community, the wider community, we're ensuring that we have the right legislative framework in place by working with the different agencies. So, for example, today, the Family and Children's Division of the High Court, there would have been a launch today that would have seen partnership with the Office of the Prime Minister, the Office of the Attorney General, the Judiciary, Ministry of National Security, taking into consideration a social problem and treating with those family issues. If you go to the wider context now, it's also looking at how we prepare individuals in Trinidad and Tobago for our development thrust, taking into consideration the SDGs as well as our Vision 2030 document, and how we shape policies and programs to ensure that the wider community benefits from what we have outlined in those policies at the national level and also the Sustainable Development Goals.
But how long would members of the public have to wait to see this
policy framework? We have been working consistently on the draft national policy on gender and development. And I could reassure the people of Trinidad and Tobago that very soon something will be presented to the public. It will take into consideration the different views from various consultations held over many years. Many years, yes. So it will take into consideration those views. It will also seek to address some of the concerns raised. And very soon something will be announced to the national public.
So it is something that members of the public can look forward to, but what role would members of the public be asked to play?
Okay, when the policy document was drafted, there would have been a series of consultations, so the public would have been involved since before 2015. Consultation would have been going on through various administrations and so on, so that the public has an opportunity to contribute. When the document is presented, they will also have another opportunity to be able to review the document and to make their inputs.
So you're looking to get the people on the ground to see how they can also make changes. A lot of the people that we've spoken to, women organizations, they've been saying that there's a culture change that we need to have in order to develop and generate equality for both males and females in Trinidad and Tobago. So with this policy, hopefully we can
definitely, and that culture change which has to take place from within our homes, and particularly the way we socialize our boys and our girls, our sons and our daughters. Women in Trinidad and Tobago, even though we are advanced now, we are making strides, we are still faced with certain challenges. Violence against women in Trinidad and Tobago is something that is real. That is something that is real. And most of the times we recognize that when there are situations where there may be intimate partner violence or women are murdered, it's not by a perfect stranger. Most of the times it's from somebody they know, either a boyfriend, a husband, or some visiting relationship. Now, what we recognize is that we have to teach our boys that even if you're in a relationship with someone, and even our girls, if you're in a relationship with someone, doesn't give you the right to try to stop them from having their own life, one, that you still have to value their basic human rights, two, and also that you have to be able to know when to walk away. You have to know when to say it's time for this to stop and leave a situation. Our boys have to recognize that even though our girls are advancing, that we are not posing a threat, that we are just trying to share the same space as you. We're trying to reach to the same level as you. And then our boys have to understand, and our men have to understand that while women are trying to reach at the same space and reach the same stage of development, that they still have a role to play, they still have a valuable contribution to make, and they should not feel threatened. And if they feel threatened, it should not manifest in the form of violence. There are different services available through the government. There is the domestic violence hotline. People could call for counseling, for intervention. There are a host of different services available through various ministries. If people need counseling, if they need psychosocial support, it is available through the government. I'm encouraging Trimbagonians to really reach out and make use of all the opportunities available through the different ministries.
Yeah, you mentioned the word threatened a few times, and
yes.
Males should not feel threatened.
Yes.
But when you look at our education system, we see year after year the females are almost always outperforming the males. So you rightfully said, I believe, that it starts at the home.
Yes, definitely.
And parents to set that, to be the role model for their children. Because,
and to change some of the what we consider cultural norms. As I said, the way we socialize our boys and our girls. Why is it that we encourage our girls? Yes, go and study, but we tell our sons, all right, you go and kick a ball. The same way we tell our girls to go and study and to value their education, we have to encourage our boys to value their education. The same way we encourage our boys to stand up for yourself. If you feel threatened, if you feel bullied, stand up for yourself. We encourage our girls to do the same thing. We don't ask them to cower in a corner, but to stand up and fight for their rights. And that's why I said that's some of the cultural norms we have to start changing within the home setting. Even the roles. We're at a stage now in society where we don't have to see the woman doing all the cooking and all the cleaning, and no men come along and could just share the burden, share the workload. And there's a program that is offered by the Office of the Prime Minister that is home management skills for men and boys, because we are encouraging our men and our boys to look at those non-traditional roles and embrace them, so together we could shape the right home setting, and together we shape the burden of raising our children and the journey of development in Trinidad and Tobago.
Some people might think that that isn't masculine. That isn't the masculine thing.
What is masculinity? What defines masculinity? That's the question. What is masculinity? What it means to be a man? Or what does it mean to be a woman? Sometimes we have to think outside of the box. Maybe femininity today may not be about just having children and raising children. Some women may choose to pursue a career and to make a meaningful contribution towards the economic development of Trinidad and Tobago. That doesn't mean she's less of a woman. If she decides that maybe a child is not the right thing for me. If a man decides, you know what, I would stay home and raise the children because my wife is able to go out and earn more, that doesn't make him less of a man. What we have to change is our mindset, how we view those roles.
Yeah. So exactly what is the ministry planning for International Women's Day 2018?
The Office of the Prime Minister has partnered with a number of different NGO organizations. So there's an entire calendar of events and activities happening in Trinidad and Tobago. Just yesterday, we would have had the panel discussion. We'd have Professor Rhoda Reddock, Ms. Gayatri Pargas, and other esteemed women addressing those issues that affect women, particularly social justice. That was the theme of the panel discussion. As well, we have a march coming up in partnership with the Institute of Gender and Development Studies. There's also activities taking place in Tobago in collaboration with the Tobago House of Assembly and the NGO sector in Tobago as well. If you notice that this year we didn't have our signature 5K, we're hoping to do that later on in the year when we observe International Women's Health Month. I think that will be sometime in April. So we'll do that then. And also, apart from what we have been doing at the NGO level, we have also been reaching out to the schools and the communities and sort of providing public education and sensitization. What we recognize is for us to really affect the change we want, there must be sustained public education and sensitization. So that is one of the thrusts of the Office of the Prime Minister for this International Women's Day observation and throughout the year.
Yeah, because there's always the argument that why should we focus just on one day for this cause? Why don't we do it throughout the year?
I fully agree. I often say that if we want to really have an impact, we can't focus on a day. We have to ensure that our messaging is sustained. We have to ensure that the public education is continuous. You cannot, as the saying goes, Rome wasn't built in a day, and we can't change mindsets and norms within a day. So we have to continue doing the work consistently. And we also have to embrace partnership, not only with local NGOs, but also partnership with those international agencies that could give us the technical support and sometimes even the financial support to ensure that our messages are crafted in a way that will be well received by the public and to help us to continue putting it out here, because we know media isn't cheap.
Yeah, that is one fact we would both agree on there. There are many women's organizations in Trinidad and Tobago, many.
Yes.
How is the ministry working with them, or is the ministry working?
We try to collaborate with all the NGOs. So my technical staff would meet with them quite regularly, especially when we have international observances coming up. They would meet with the various organizations. When I just assumed the portfolio, I would have met with the NGO sector on more than one occasion, and I would have given them free rein to access me. They have my number, they could call me anytime. So sometimes a representative may call me and say, I want to have a one-on-one with you, Minister, and we'll discuss issues. Sometimes we agree to disagree, but there's an open, cordial working relationship with the NGO sector.
Because members of the public tend to feel that when government officials, whoever is in government, they tend to talk a lot, and you hardly ever see anything being done. That is the general consensus of people. You know, they're having this panel discussion, it's just going to be another talk shop.
And you know what's the funny thing, Rishi? Is the opposite said about me. People say they don't hear me enough and they don't see me enough, but I'm quietly working in the background with the technical staff at the Office of the Prime Minister. And you will see that manifested in these little wins, little gains. For example, in 2016, we'd have launched our Central Registry on Domestic Violence, where we're now able to really track our survivors as well as our perpetrators and point them in the direction of accessing the right resources, and also that information will help us to shape policies and programs. And also, as again, you will see it coming out in the little, I don't want to jump the gun, but the public will have something else to look forward to very soon.
Yeah, especially because they've been talking about it forever.
Yes,
that is the national
I know,
gender policy.
And it will come up continuously throughout this week of observing International Women's Day. But as the saying goes, full strain, good things in store.
Yeah. So I guess the members of the public would be looking forward to seeing what the minister and the ministry has to put forward.